Nuggets back in the win column over the New Orleans Pelicans. Peyton Watson scores 30. And I'll tell you why a lineup decision made me want to tear what hair I don't have out. All that and more on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day, being an everydayer and making this your first listen. We do appreciate each and every single one of you. Whether you're listening on the podcast farm, give us a 5-star review if you got a sec, or if you're catching us at youtube.com/Locked On Nuggets. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the Denver Nuggets as a credentialed media member, I think that's important, for 14 seasons. I'm joined by Ryan Blackburn from Mile High Sports. You can catch him at the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. On tonight's show, we'll talk about the win over the Pelicans, about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll talk about Peyton Watson's big night. We'll talk about Valanciunas and kind of his role on the team. I actually want to talk about Cam Johnson, who I thought played very well tonight. We'll get to all that and more on today's show. Okay, so Ryan did the rundown for us, and in the rundown at youtube.com, it says, Nuggets win in New Orleans, period, wasn't pretty. And then before the show, Ryan was like, this one reminded me a lot of last year's Nuggets. I fear you may have PTSD from covering the loss to the Wizards twice Denver Nuggets. Because
that's great take.
Because this was like your boilerplate, very standard, screwed around for a half. Oh, but we're way better than you. This effort doesn't beat the great teams in the NBA. And if they have this effort versus the Houston Rockets on Friday, the Nuggets will get blown out of the building, off of the street, across the great state of Texas, across the great state of Colorado, across California, into the ocean, into the Mariana Trench itself.
Nice.
And be buried there forever if they play like this versus the Rockets. However, you can't expect them to play 100 every night. And it's not that I think they played down to the opponent a little bit. I think the coaching staff played down to the opponent a little bit. We'll get to that later on.
Oh yeah.
But this was like, once the bench made the run in the second quarter to dig them out of the hole, the second the Nuggets got within 2, not even took the lead, when they got within 2, go back and watch the Pelicans body language, because it was like, well, okay, here's another one. Like they knew, and all the Nuggets had to do was be like, yeah, you're gonna lose, and the Pelicans were like, yeah, we know, okay, and that's how it was. That was my take on the night.
I think it's a completely fair and reasonable take. The reason why I say it wasn't pretty and why I kind of have the reaction that I do is because after coming off of a loss where you take a team lightly on they're on the second night of a back-to-back, Chicago, and then you get got. And then Denver allows what was they got it up to a 20-point lead or pretty close to it. It was a very good performance, kind of recovering, especially in the fourth quarter. You let that thing get down to 5. I know that's why you build up the margin that you do. It wasn't clean. It wasn't the best way that they could have handled it. Jokic, 9 turnovers, fouls out in this game. Derek Queen plays him to a standstill. I thought that was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, Denver was in control. They did enough to get the job done, and that's what you want. You want them to recover, and they did. They did win, and they did it without 2 starters, which is tougher than I think people give it credit for.
I mean, I don't even think it's 2 starters. I think it's AG. I just think it's AG. No, I'm not. I'm being serious here, right? I think there's levels of guys in the NBA where it's like you can be without certain dudes and be fine. And yeah. I just don't think that Aaron is that for this team, especially with their backup power forward situation being where it is. And AG, think about what AG provides. 3-point shooting. They were 11 of 31, 36% from 3 tonight. interior scoring, defense, rim protection, the ability to guard guys like Zion, the ability to guard guys like Trey Murphy, the ability to guard guys like Derek Queen. Like all of the things that AG does were like sorely missed tonight because AG just does a lot. And I think it's good to get him these games off. I think it's really good that they're able to win on the road without him and not screw around and get caught by a bad team.
Sure.
But it's not that I'm dismissing CB. CB's a really good player, but CB is in no way as essential to this team as Aaron Gordon is.
There's no question about that. That's not really what I was determining. It was just that, yeah, they are by definition 2 starters.
Yeah.
That was all.
Yeah. And like I always say, like with the guys missing, a good way to think about it is like how much money is not on the court.
Yeah, well, now it's $25 million for CB. So
next year, right? Next year,
yeah. That's fantastic point. You gotta take the pressure off.
You guys can't be mad at how CB is played. He's still only a $4 million player. So there you go.
Let's talk about Peyton, man. This was like he deserves a ton of credit for stepping up and making the shots that the Pelicans dared him to make. That was the way he got going. That was the way the Nuggets treated it. The first 3 that he hit was on the left wing. There was a switch that happened, and Jokic is in the middle of the floor. They just give up the left wing corner 3 to Peyton Watson, and it took until his third made 3 for them to really start even closing out or even thinking about closing out against him. And he continued to apply pressure. 8 buckets inside the arc and 5 outside of the arc. That is notable. 32 points is a career high.
I looked it up on Synergy. He had 6 possessions in transition and 7 off of cuts.
Nice. So
a lot of this, honestly, is like Peyton did the CB role tonight. Like that's what he did. There was so to give Peyton the credit that he deserves. There is a level of athleticism that Peyton has that other human beings on the planet do not possess. And so if you get him downhill with the defense unaware, he is very dangerous. And this is a really good evolution for him because I don't think he felt that way last year or the year before. I feel like this is like another level. The floater that he got to in particular, I thought was really good to be able to be like, oh, if you're going to crowd that paint and just jam it, I can still score here. In conjunction with that, I'm not trying to take away from Peyton's ability. Like Peyton hitting these threes is just massive. Like they're just massive. How many were corners? Felt like
there were, I think, 3 of them in the corners and 2 on the wings.
3, yeah. And like those are just such high quality looks.
Yeah.
And to be able to knock those down, those are high lever situations. And to everyone's chagrin, like those are the shots Kristen's missed this year. And so Peyton knocking those down, it does fundamentally just kind of hurt the defense in a different kind of way. A lot of credit to me goes to Cameron Johnson for not to like take again. It's gonna sound like I'm trying to give Cam had a good night, 14 points. Cam was so willing to pass to Peyton on cuts in transition on spot ups, and some of that is like you get into like habits and little disagreements, and sometimes teams will just be like, "Yeah, I'm not like we don't pass to that guy in that situation," and Cam's like, "Nope, he's open." Right, found him on various cuts. Like some of the passes that Cam made were really high. Like that was the stuff that I broke down in the summer as being valuable. Was like Cam Johnson, like little assist playmaking opportunities for him to be able to get that done. Like I just thought that was like a really good scenario for him to be able to do it. Cam had 3 assists tonight to Peyton Watson, so half of his assists went to Peyton in these kind of opportunities, which I think is just it's terrific. That's great to be able to build that kind of chemistry with a guy that even if they're not going to play that many minutes together, I think that's really great.
And one of those was Cam breaking the press. He broke the press in transition. There was a guy that tried to pick him up to try to stop the ball, and he was able to break it and then throws, like while he's on the run trying to get into the paint, a cross-court left corner pass to Peyton for an open 3. Peyton he knocks that down to give him the career high. And that's just one of those that's fundamental basketball. That's how this team has to play in the open court. They have the guys to be able to do it. At other nights, it's been Tim Hardaway. It's been Bruce Brown. It's been Jamal Murray. Tonight, it was Cam Johnson and Peyton Watson who are really taking that to task, and just a really impressive performance for both of them at the same time.
Yeah, I just loved how Peyton played tonight. He played like he was a slasher, which is like his role in the NBA. And I think that was really great. Like this is a really good example of what Peyton can be at his absolute best, and 30 points career high. Like that's terrific. It shows you how bad the Pelicans are, but it also just shows you like, yeah, look, if you're going to throw the kitchen sink at Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, and they're both going to like Joker had 9 turnovers, fouled out. And Jamal, I thought, just like missed. Jamal fell so many times tonight on tough layup attempts. I was just like, oh God, he's gonna be beat up and tired. He still got there for 16 points on 14 shots, but like for Payton to pick up and give him that 32 off the bench, I think or off the starting unit, I think it's phenomenal.
100%. I do think, by the way, one of the reasons he got more opportunities, again, AG was out, so Zeke Nnaji starts. Yep. He only takes 3 shots. The shots were definitely concentrated within the top 4 guys within that group. So maybe this doesn't happen again if they have to recreate that, or if Aaron comes back into the lineup. But it shows a ceiling. It shows an ability to explode, and I do think that's super valuable.
We'll talk about Joker. We'll talk about the bench. We'll talk about a number of things, and a little bit later on, Zeke Nnaji. Really, it's coming up on Locked On Nuggets. You know, when Skims announced they were making underwear for men, the reaction made perfect sense. People have been talking about Skims comfort for years. Most guys, though, stick to whatever they've been buying since college. The same fits, the same waistbands that roll, and a whole lot of settling. Skims Men's changes that. One upgrade, and it's obvious why everyone's been talking. But once you try Skims, you're going to get the hype immediately. They've designed to feel good, to feel fit right, and actually stay put. No slipping, no sagging, no adjusting. Just genuinely great underwear that makes you feel confident and comfortable. They don't ride up, they don't lose their shape, and they hit exactly where they're supposed to on the thigh. I have social anxiety. Do you know what happens to me when something happens in regards to the fit of my underwear in public? It is like an ice cream cone melting in the sun. Like and that's why you got to trust Skims, because they're going to have the right fit for you every single time. I didn't expect underwear to be a game changer, but Skims completely surprised me. Shop Skims Men's now at skims.com. When you place your order, choose podcast in the post-purchase survey and select our show from the drop-down to let them know we sent you. Plus, the Skims holiday shop is open. So if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered at skims.com. We're also brought to you today by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on a Wednesday, Thursday morning, if you're listening on the pod. You put the Joker was shaky. I get it. Six fouls, 9 turnovers. Some of them were baffling. 28 points, 11 rebounds, 12 assists, 10 of 18 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, and 6 of 7, and he was a +9.
Oh yeah, I mean, he could do it. Like that's the great thing about calling Joker shaky, is that despite that, like, this is a performance that is somehow below the standard. And
yeah, I agree. But you know what? I will say here, I actually really liked his defense tonight.
I liked it better than I think a lot of other people did too. I think a lot of people see the Derek Queen points number and they're like, "Oh, Joker, like he must have been bad." I don't agree with that. I honestly thought he was fine there.
This is typical because it's like, oh, Derek Queen scored 30. That must have been Joker because that was his matchup. This is what's always insane to me, where it's like, okay, how often in the NBA do you just have like, I mean, some teams are just ISO, right? But how often do you really see that? Like, it's Queen's cutting in transition. Like he gave Cam Johnson the business on one, and the Pelicans were running to get transition cross matches. And that was where Queen got a lot of damage done. So look, I think Derek Queen's awesome, and I want nothing better. I want nothing more from that kid to be awesome, because I hate it when it's like he becomes this icon of the stupid trade that Dumars made. And it's like, Derek didn't have anything to do with that. Kid had nothing to do with that decision. He was just a kid that got drafted, and he's playing well and he's playing great. And Derek Queen's really good. To me, it's more just like Derek Queen had 30 versus the Nuggets, and Zion Williamson had 14.
Hey, Zeke Nnaji.
Don't you? He did actually really defend him well. He really did. But we'll talk about that later.
It was the way that the Pelicans were designing things, and they ran a lot of things rightly through Queen. He deserved it.
But yeah, I did like the way the Joker was playing defense, and I felt like he was engaged. Like there were some where it's like, yeah, he got beat to the rim because he was cross matched on guards in transition.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Somebody complained about that to me on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, like. Duh, do you want him to pick up a foul? And in actuality, it would have been way worse had he picked up a foul, because he probably would have fouled out it with like 6 minutes to go. And that probably changes the game a little bit.
Well, yeah, well, also like it is unrealistic to expect Nikola Jokic or any center to laterally cover a full speed guard in the NBA. Like that's just not going to happen. I want to get this question because that was a good one from Death Reaper 493. He says, why didn't we start THJ at the 2 and Peyton Watson at the 4? We'll talk about the Zeke thing in a minute. But this actual question I think is important because like David Adelman mentioned this the other day, a refreshing change of pace. By the way, I want to thank David Adelman a million times for being somebody who is like not scared to just be like, yeah, we're going to start Peyton Watson for now and going forward. That's going to be our decision. That's what we think is best. Like instead of being like state secrets of you'll find out. I'm not going to tell you so they can game plan, as if like the Pelicans are going into this game being like, who are they going to start? Like
on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
It's just ridiculous. So, but Adeline talked about wanting THJ with the bench unit because he's been so good in that role. And I actually totally agree. I think THJ needs to be with the bench unit.
I do too. And it's one of those things where one of the reasons why Murray had a tough time tonight was because they were hard hedging. They hard hedged a lot against him. They put 2 on the ball. They put some length and athleticism against him. You already have Herb Jones that you're trying to deal with, and then you add a second defender to it, and it makes things pretty difficult. So in order to be successful in that, you need a couple of different release valves. I thought that Bruce Brown did a really good job with that tonight. He was a cutter. He did some great things at transition. He was just nice driving to the rim. But in general, like Tim Hardaway is the one release valve that you need to have out there on a consistent basis. And despite the fact that he was just 1 of 5 from 3, he was a plus 11 because when he's out there, the offense flows and like he just does the right smart things. And the opposing team has to respect that whether he's shooting well or not. So I think that it is the right call and it just balances things out. Denver, they were trying to play defense and really try to lock down in that first quarter, but they turned the ball over too many times and just like gave up too many offensive rebounds that it didn't really matter.
Well, and also like it is easy to be like, I think they should just keep it this way and keep THA with the bench. Like you can say that when Peyton Watson goes 5 of 9 from 3.
Damn right.
Like, yeah, but here's the thing is like if that doesn't happen, then certain podcast hosts are going to be like the spacing, right? Like
you're the Justin Herbert of podcast hosts, Mr. If Man over here. That's we get to talk about what happened, Matt.
Sure. He made the shots and therefore it was fait accompli. But yeah, I just think I regardless of that though, like I think it's totally okay. And like I do like the big picture perspective of Peyton. One, there's a little bit of this where it's like, hey, Peyton's in a contract here and just scored 32 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists.
Good for him.
And that's like great for them to, because what you don't want is the opposite, which is team. And this ticks me off. Like GMs will interfere and be like, no, you can't start him. We got to try and keep his value down. I don't mind if you don't want to pay a guy. Do not hurt your team and their chances or a guy's ability to make the most money out of his career to try and leverage an advantage.
Yeah.
Like, have some decency. Love
the fact is that Watson is the most talented player to then elevate his game into that starting group. It made a lot of sense. You want to keep the bench guys and the veterans within the role and just not overbearing them immediately. This is November basketball. Like you just have to, you got to do what you got to do in November.
the chat's talking a lot about this. Like, we kept Peyton and we kept CB on his contract and we let Peyton go. And like Red White's 1244 says he's gone. So here's the thing.
We don't know.
It's okay for you to have an opinion at the time that those decisions were made, to be like, I think we should have kept Peyton and Christian, or we should have kept Peyton and not Christian. And it's okay, I think, at the end of the year for you as a fan to be like, this is what I think we should do. But like, what's the point in having these like big, bold positions right now when in 2 weeks you might feel differently, let alone in 4 months? How many times have we seen a guy pop off in 1 month and then cool off, and then everybody turns too much on him? And I'm like, well, wait, guys, like, he's still very good. Or the opposite, where it's like a guy gets hot in the second half of the year and they're like, he's awesome, we don't need this other guy. And I'm like, well, no, like, he's probably going to struggle a little bit too. Take a big picture view of this. And the reality is, like, Peyton has some nights where he is awesome, and he has some nights where he's a very incomplete player.
Yeah. As one of the youngest guys on the team, and still somebody who's trying to figure out what he's supposed to do within Denver's larger scheme when he's not in the core group. Like, he's still trying to adjust to that. He's still trying to figure that out. And if they pay him, if they end up, because again, they have the right of first refusal as a restricted free agent. If he gets a contract from somebody, they can always match it. Now, I think what they'll probably do is they'll either sign him or they will let him walk, because you don't see many people go through the restricted free agency process anymore. But like, if they can come to a certain agreement, then, like, again, in the offseason, I was talking about 460 would be tough, but it would be fine. 448 is what you would like to do. If you get him for 460 at this point, it's fine. But if he has to sign somewhere and he goes to get 472 or 480, then you're probably going to be okay if you lose him.
Okay, coming up, they started Zeke Nnaji. I got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. I'm all for big picture decisions, but oh my God, we got to talk about the Zeke Nnaji decision. It's coming up on Locked On Nuggets. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That's SAD. Software as a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling is a unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. These tools are so important. Like, you want your employees to be engaged. You want them to be focused. You need to provide them with the peace of mind that they know where to get their information, where to get access to what they need, where to get the tools that they need, whether it's IT or if they're looking for a pay stub, whatever. You need to be able to provide those tools for them so they can take care of that and then focus on work. And having one place is so helpful. It's seriously simple to use and gives companies one source of truth for their people, data, and everything they touch. Right now, you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. Learn more at rippling.com/LockedOnNBA. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNBA for 6 months free. We're also brought to you today by Doer. My Doer jeans came in the mail, and I've been wearing them out when I'm running around. I've been wearing them out when I'm running errands. I've been wearing them when we go out to dinner, and they are absolutely terrific. They're really versatile. Like, they're a pair of jeans that look good with anything. Like, you can wear them in certain dress situations. You can wear them just casually hanging out, and they look great, fit great, the whole thing. They have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim. They're antibacterial, meaning your jeans stay fresh longer so you can wear them more and wash them less. They're made with Cool Max that regulates your body temperature and wicks moisture, keeping you cool and comfortable as temperatures change. They feel stretchy, but they don't look stretchy. And that's like a big deal for me right now, because to be honest with you, like, I've been working out so much that I've lost a bunch of weight. And so I don't have a lot of stuff that fits correctly. I'm in between a lot of sizes, but my Doer jeans fit absolutely awesome. They combine jeans wear style with the kind of comfort and performance you get from athletic wear, so you get the best of both worlds. Simply put, Doer makes the world's most comfortable pants without having to sacrifice style. Once you try these, they're going to be your go-to. You're going to look for that pair when you're going through laundry to make sure that you've got your Doers ready. You can check them out, Doer in store right here in Denver. They're at 2621 Larimer Street. Pick up a pair for yourself or as an amazing holiday gift. Mention our promo code Locked On Denver in store to get 15% off your first order. Check them out online at shopdoer.com/Locked On Denver for 15% off. That's shopdoer.com/Locked On Denver. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Zeke Nnaji?
Matt, do you have an opinion on this take?
I freaked out when he was announced in the starting lineup. I freaked out. Ryan was like, he's the Zion stopper. And he was
I was joking for what it's worth. Like,
I know.
But last year he did do a great job against Zion.
I thought he did great tonight. Like, honestly, Zion was frustrated with him. Like, he's got this. I don't know how, but Zeke has. I don't understand how Zeke has such like he can't rebound.
No,
but he's strong enough to hold Zion down.
Minus 18 in 27 minutes, by the way, for Zeke Nnaji. So it wasn't like it worked perfectly. The decision wasn't great. However, they did need some size to fill in for Aaron Gordon. I would have preferred that position go to Spencer Jones. Who was great in the first half, coming off the bench and doing all the things that I think you could have seen him do against Zion in the starting lineup. So, like, I would have started Spencer Jones personally, but I understand why they went with Zeke Nnaji instead. And it's going to be one of those things where you try to get everybody, like, you want to use your entire rotation, right? You don't want to be caught in a situation where you are playing 8 guys against New Orleans on the road ahead of Houston on Friday. So I understand why they did it.
Big Honey is like, his hands are why he can't rebound or finish. LOL, not strength. I get it. It is amazing to me that somebody can be that strong and not be able to just simply body everybody out to where even your rough hands can grab it. Spencer's such a dog, man.
I love his game, man.
I'm actually genuinely surprised at this. That's true. 0 points on 0 shots, 2 assists, 1 steal, +6. Point to hustle place.
Here's the thing, like, I can really appreciate when a guy is playing cerebral basketball, when a guy is playing like really intelligent, forward-thinking, proactive defense. That, to me, that is exactly what this team needs and has not had enough of. Spencer Jones is the guy that gives them that high-level play on the defensive end, both from an effort and an impact standpoint. And I think he gives them a lot of different areas as a 6'8" athletic, versatile swingman that really gives them like just a lot of different ways that they could cover guys. He rotated over. He took a charge when Jokic was out on Sadiq Bey on the perimeter. He did a lot of great things defending at the rim. He grabbed, like, I don't even know if he grabbed a single rebound, but it felt like he was just involved in everything that they needed to do and made a lot of plays that helped them get back into the game.
I love that you said that he was involved, because that's the thing that stands out the most of them, is that he is constantly involved defensively.
Yeah.
He is just like, he's around the ball without leaving his guy. He is and the other thing is he gets involved in these really physical sequences of plays where guys fall or are tussling, and he's never like barking or yapping. He just gets up and walks off, because he's always like, did I do right there? Is that good? Like,
that's what I do.
Yeah. Like it was, and like looking to Jokic and being like, was that like looking at the coaching staff being like, is that, am I good?
Yeah, that's
they're like, yeah,
keep going.
continue to bark. He was great tonight, and I understand. What game did he start? I feel like
he started the second half against the Clippers, I want to say.
One of the games he didn't do well with the starting unit, and that's fine. But like tonight would have been, I think, an awesome time to deploy him. I understand it's like, look, we won, but like, look at this. Like, the Nuggets won this game by 7 with a little bit of, wasn't that close at the end. And Zeke's a minus 18.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, it's bad. And I don't want to pile on the guy. I don't want to pile on the guy. But to me, I'm more frustrated that, like, I guess I understand it from the coaching staff's position of, you can't want them to experiment. You can't want them to try guys. You can't want them to try and give guys opportunities. You can't want to try and play Zeke so his trade value goes up and you can move him later. You can't want all these things and then get mad when he plays.
Yeah.
I get it. It's just, for me, on the road after the Chicago loss is a little bit of it. If they won the Bulls game, I'd been like, screw it. But
let me ask you this. Do you call up DaRon Holmes? in this situation. He's been in the G League for a little bit here. He's gotten some reps. He's
You really
done
want to
pretty
see
well.
him. You really want to see him.
Well, I'm just asking the question. They had 11 guys tonight, and you're not super happy that Zeke Nnaji is playing minutes.
I think, I would have been totally fine if you just flipped Spencer Jones's 10 minutes and Zeke Nnaji's 26-36. I don't. If you're gonna like, this would have been a nice spot because it's the Pelicans, and you're playing like Derek Queen, just being like, "Hey, DaRon, like, we just want you to bang with Queen up and down the floor all night," right? Yeah. I just don't think that DaRon is where he needs to be for the coaching staff or for the other veterans, quite honestly.
Clearly, like at this point, that's been self-evident by how they handled it, I think.
Yeah, and like there's a part of this where it's, you either trust the staff and players or you don't, and I think as a fan you have a right not to, because sometimes coaches are wrong, and sometimes players are wrong. Like, that's the real secret, is like a lot of times players are like, yeah, no, we can't afford to have the rook out here. And then it's like, everybody's like, but the rook's like actually making plays. Like, you need to be out the court. DaRon had 27 and 10 in the G League tonight. Emia says, go gold. You can read my interview with Ryan Bowen on the Dig, by the way.
Heck yeah.
I will check in with Bowen with Rybo here after the cup games get done there. And I will follow up on the gold. I love the gold. I love G League.
Like, it's good to be able to check in and see how he's doing, because like, this may not be the right spot, but there might be another game like this in January and February and March where Denver's going to be hurt. They're going to be missing a couple guys. You're going to want to rest some people at various points. And like, Denver's schedule is extremely road heavy for a while until March. So it just would not surprise me if they decide, hey, we're going to need some reinforcements at some point here.
You know who we didn't talk enough about?
Jonas Valanciunas.
Bruce Brown.
Oh, well, talk about both of them. Valanciunas.
You talk about Jonas. You talk about Jonas. I'll about Bruce.
Yeah, so Valanciunas comes in after Jokic gets out due to foul trouble, immediately makes two clutch, like, late shot clock mid-range jumpers. And everybody says the mid-range is dead. Everybody says that it's not something that you're really going to, that the teams are forcing you away from taking those kinds of shots. Well, not when there's 3 seconds left on the shot clock. You take the kind of shot that you can get, and the one that they were able to generate was a couple for Jonas Valanciunas, fresh off of the bench, and him being able to hit that in that situation is a veteran move. Back in the arena that he spent a lot of time in previously. So not a surprise that he was able to step up, but still credit to him. He was hustling on the glass a lot in that first half as well. I got to make sure that second quarter, he was a beast on the glass.
The Bulls knocked off the Blazers, by the way.
Shout out Bulls. They're good.
Vooch for the win again.
Oh my God.
So
that's 3 game winners for, actually not technically a game winner against it was a game winner against the Nuggets, I think.
Clutch player of the year. So Bruce, I thought he was destructive towards the Pelicans. I thought he tore them to pieces.
Yeah.
It was steals, it was deflections, it was energy, it was fast break leak outs, it was slashes. Like, he only scored 12 points, but it was on 5 of 7 shooting, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals for Bruce with a team high plus 22. Like, it was Bruce's minutes where in the second, like, that bench came in and was like, all right, enough nonsense. Let's get serious. And it is very good to have Bruce Brown back in Denver.
It's good to see. Like, he had a struggle of a game the last game against Chicago, so nice to see him kind of get back on track. He's a guy that, like, I'm sure also a former Pelican, probably had something to say to some folks on the bench, and definitely enjoyed being back.
They made him go out and tank. They made him go out there last year, and it was not pleasant.
Not happy about it.
All right, that's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. Appreciate you guys being with us. Swipe and I'll be with you tomorrow on Thursday. Swipe and Grab on Friday afternoon. Then the post-game show after the biggest game of the year so far versus the Houston Rockets. I want to get Swipe's thoughts tomorrow, probably about, like, we should do 2 days of pregame for that Rockets game. That's how big that game is. So we'll start talking about that tomorrow. Join us at 4 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Mountain tomorrow for Swiping, or for Swipe and Gripe, and then same time, same bat channel on Friday. Appreciate you guys being with us. Check out Ryan's work at Mile High Sports. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On
Nuggets.
Bruce Brown.